Well, why don't we start? I read some of the backstory about To Indie, but why don't you guys just give it to me fresh? How did you guys come to be doing what you're doing, and what is the path that led to Indie?
John and I ended up in a in-person, we were both artists, musicians, songwriters that have been on the path of like playing live and busking. And John did a lot of busking and just kind of like, writing songs and waiting to be discovered and trying to figure out how the new record label system music world goes. And we ended up together in a in-person little small workshop taught by Kathy Heller a number of years ago in Hollywood. And we did a song together and we just started, connecting. And from my story, it goes, I reached out to Kathy and ended up working down the street from her and ended up working for her. I started running her licensing. She had a music licensing company. She started an online program around sync and just did like a deep dive into it, started writing music with people like John and collaborating and creating a lot of music that was with sync in mind, coming from a
Yeah.
space of I had just come off this big reality show and was feeling really disheartened in the music industry and felt
What
like
reality
I'm
show were you
done.
on?
Well, I say big, it really wasn't. It was called Rising Star. It was on ABC with Josh Groban and it didn't do well. So it didn't continue. But it was one of those pivotal moments for me in my life where I was like, I'm done with music. This is like my heart just breaks. Like like have put everything I have into it. And now I feel way too old to continue on this path. And right after that, Kathy sent me an email and was like, come to this workshop. And so for me, it was this like saving grace of you can still do music and you can have a family and you can have your music make money and you can have your music be heard by many, many people and not have to like necessarily do the hustle and grind of what I thought I had to do. I've learned a lot in that, like showing up for yourself as an artist, showing up for your craft and having your voice be heard and still do things that work for sync in mind. I think both are true at the same time. So John and I fast forward, Catch the Moon was the company. John came on. He started
Right.
working there. I had some babies. I left. We came back together. John can fill in more pieces. He was the instructor that like brought many people through how to be love music, wish that you were doing music, and then be doing music and really doing well in sync. When Catch the Moon closed, Kathy gave us her blessing, and John and I were like, what do we want to create? And we created To Indie as a space for independent artists like ourselves to come together and have community and have accountability and also opportunities. We bring in opportunities every month. People in our community are getting signed. People are getting their songs placed. It's not just a, kumbaya experience, which also we need in the music industry to not feel so alone, but it's also like, and here are the steps you take to like, see some return on your investment and your time and your heart and everything else. So anyway, John, I kind of shared everything, but you go ahead and share your perspective and story. Sorry, I just jumped right on in. Go for it.
That's all good. No. Yeah, like Sonnet said, I was doing a lot of busking on the Third Street Promenade in Santa Monica, and it was really fun. I have so many stories of just every single day having a record executive coming and saying that they were going to make me the next big thing, and then you don't hear a damn thing from them, and everything from that to like kids getting the free sodas that they were giving away down the street and putting those in my case and making my day in some kind of crazy way when I was making like $12 in tips for a 2-hour set. I was out there doing that while I was working a full-time job doing stuff that I didn't really like to
Mm.
do. And I moved out to LA in like 2005 to make it my living, to really fulfill what it is that I set out to do as a singer-songwriter. And it just didn't really end up the way that I had really seen it panning out for me. And so I was sitting there in this dead end desk job, and I just decided to myself, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go on this trip to India. I'm going to come back and I'm going to see what is on the other side of that. And over there, long story short, I came back and decided I wanted to become a music producer. And so I was living off my savings, trying to figure out, how a compressor worked. I didn't even know how a compressor worked back then. And I was like, well, I got to figure out how I can make money doing this because, that's great. I don't know if I want to be like the $20 an hour producer on Craigslist. I'm not sure that's the best way for me to start. So I'm like, is there a better way? And I somehow, because I was playing gigs all over town, the person who booked one of the venues that I was performing at a lot sent out this email saying, learn about sync. And it was from this lady named Kathy Heller, who I did not know until that point, but I showed up this workshop. Fast forward a few months, I was really into the whole idea of sync, and I took that series that Sonnet was talking about where we met, and it just fast forward again. I was making music that with sync in mind ended up was just some crazy success right out the gate, ended up with an international Starbucks ad that ran for 2/3 of a year around the globe. And it was crazy. It was good money. It was like, I realized that one of my goals of having my voice heard by millions around the world had already been checked off by just that one thing. It was so exciting. I was just collaborating with everybody, learning how to produce, and eventually I got asked to teach, and I really enjoy teaching people. I love mentoring independent artists and songwriters and producers to not only level up the craft of what they're doing, but also to find ways to make money doing it, which sync is a great way to do that. So we started our company with the blessing of Kathy Heller, who was an awesome person to work for and help mentor so many thousands of students through that process of learning, like, what are your superpowers in terms of music and how do you apply those in a way that you can actually earn money in the music industry for, and have, like Sonnet was saying, support, love, and community around it all so that you're not going absolutely mad and not enjoying the process all the way through. So, we're here now. We've been in business for about 2 years. 2Indie is a strong community. We're having fun every month. We make it a monthly challenge and people jump in and make really cool music that gets signed to rep deals. And then that results in placements. They go out, the rep companies, the companies that we partner with, they'll rep the songs from the people, the independent music makers in our community, and they'll go out there and pitch the music to supervisors, to ad agencies, and it results in placements, results in so many connections between others and peers and leveling up their music. And I don't know, it's in a way, it's a fulfillment of the dream that I always had, which was to do cool stuff in the music industry all the time and have that be my living. So that's what I got to say about it.